Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Nutrition Show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie, and I'm your host for this evening. A great victory for the Reds earlier this afternoon as we defeated Accrington Stanley 4 goals to nil. So, monumental moments in this fixture as well. Firstly, our 16-year-old protege Rio and entered the record books as he became the youngest player in Liverpool history to make his debut. Also, our summer signing, Federico Chiesa, opens his scoring account in this fixture. So let's go through the key moments of the game with our match review. Then I will present the player ratings and give you, the viewers, a chance to make an appearance on the show. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, a link has been pinned in the live chat. So feel free to hit that link and I'll bring the callers on after the player ratings. So let's talk about the first half. In my opinion, it was quite a comfortable game for Liverpool, who had majority of the possession and created a number of chances. Darwin Núñez had an early chance with a header. Unfortunately, couldn't direct the ball on target, even though he was trying to stretch for it. Rio and Gumoha, who started the game in style, goes past two, three players, lays it off to Simicast, who passes it square to Szoboszlai. He dummies the ball and finds Trent, who hits the shot, saved by the keeper with his legs. The danger was not gone. It was still around the 6 yard box. Darwin Núñez controls the ball, has a shot, but unfortunately hits it over the bar. For me, that should have been 1-0. How on earth he didn't hit the target there is beyond me. An easy opportunity to score there. But then moments later, we were able to make it 1-0. So Boslai hits an inch perfect pass to sink the counter attack. Trent receives the ball and plays it to Darwin Núñez on the right channel. Núñez lifts his head and hits the ball across goal to find Jota, who taps it in from close range. Great two move there for the first goal. And just before half time, Trent manages to get on the score sheet as Boslai lays a ball from like a few yards away to Trent Alexander Arnold on the edge of the box. And Trent sets himself up and smashes the ball into the top bin to make it 2-0. Perfect timing just before half time. In terms of the second half, Armstrong makes a half-time substitution. That was a welcomed one, in my opinion, as he brought on Chiesa for Szoboszlai, and he made an instant impact. Chiesa is through on goal on the right side of the box, takes a shot, but unfortunately hits the side netting. Accrington Stanley came very, very close to equalising as Josh Woods smashes the ball onto the crossbar. Great effort from the Liverpool fan. Very unlucky not to get his name on the score sheet. And then moments later, Accrington Stanley had another chance through their right back, Donald Love, who has a free header from Wally's cross. Unfortunately, hits it straight at the keeper. Probably should have made it, in my opinion. Huge opportunity for Accrington Stanley to get a goal in this game. Chiesa then has another shot from similar range that was done earlier on, and he hits the side netting once again. Armstrong makes further sip substitutions and brings on Jaden Dans, and he wasted no time in getting on the score sheet. Dans starts to move as he drives with the ball from the left hand side. He sets up Chiesa, who is through on goal, 1-on-1 with the keeper, but for me, didn't have the best of first touches. In the end, he smashes the ball to the keeper, but Dan gets on the loose ball and smashes the rebound to make it 2-0. Dan's almost scored a second goal moments later from a cross by Harvey Elliott, but he was unable to flick it behind uh, towards the goal. Kaiser also has another pop towards goal. This time he hits the outside of the post with a low shot. Very unlucky not to score there. So at that stage, you're thinking, surely he's going to get on the score sheet after knocking the door on several occasions. And yes, he finally did. Nyoni threads the ball to Chiesa, who finds himself in a good position just outside the box. He hits a fantastic strike, posting in to score his first goal for Liverpool. Great moment for the Italian winger, and he also officially announces himself. Overall, a great win for the Reds, who now progress into the fourth round. The draw will take place after the Arsenal and Manchester United game tomorrow. But I'm pleased with the performance from the team, especially the young players who stepped in and showed a great account of themselves. So let's go ahead and speak about individual performances through the player ratings. So let's share a graphic with you guys, and we'll start with the goalkeeper. So Kelleher for me had a solid game. I'll be brutally honest, he didn't really have much to do in the first half. I think they barely created a chance on goal. In the second half, he was a bit more active. Obviously, the shot from Josh Woods hit the crossbar. Nothing he really could have done with that one. Wally had a shot where it was a half volley just outside the area, straight at Kelleher. So wasn't really required to do much today. Didn't really make many saves. Wasn't really involved in sort of high cross situations where you had to clear the ball, anything to that nature. So for me, a very quiet day from a goalkeeping point of view. So therefore, I can't give him a very high score. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Trent, for me, had a very good game. Showed his true ability today. Play more as an inverted fullback, coming inside a lot more and just spraying balls left, right, and centre. Really showcased his passing range today and looked to have played with more confidence. He was also given the captain's armband, which was a nice touch from Armstead. So no, for me, really, really good. And the goal was top quality. Really, really good strike. Now, if that was the Kevin De Bruyne or midfielder of that nature, we were speaking about it a lot more. But because it's Trent, unfortunately, it gets downplayed a little bit just because he's the right back. But for me, a fantastic goal, fantastic finish. I thought he overall had a very good game. Obviously, in terms of defensively, he wasn't troubled as much, but whatever came towards his direction, he handled it with ease. So for me, I'm going to give him a solid rating. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I thought he was really good today. Alongside him was Kwanzaa. I actually thought Kwanzaa had a good game. He started off not nervous. I think in the previous game against Tottenham, he looked really nervous, but in this one, he just seemed a bit unease in sort of his positioning and distributing certain passes here and there. As the game went on, I thought he got improved a lot. He got involved in the play a lot more. He was carrying the ball on a number of occasions. Once or twice he did, give the ball away. But when you're a young defender, you are going to make those risks, and then sometimes it pays or sometimes it doesn't. But I think generally he had a very solid game, improved as the game went on, and for me, that gives me a bit of confidence going up to the upcoming fixtures that we have this month because we need every player in the squad available. So he's not played as many games as he probably would have liked since the season had begun, but I do believe that he's slowly getting back into the form that received a lot of high praise from us fans last year. So for me, a good performance from Kwanzaa. Hopefully, he can continue to play at this sort of standard against high oppositions. So for me, he gets an 8 out of 10. Endo for me looks really good, playing centre back again. It's a good option to have because there's a point a few days ago where we thought maybe we don't even have any fully fit defenders. So, Konate is just coming back from injury. Gomez is out for a few weeks. Kwanzaa at the time was ill, so we weren't sure in terms of how long it'll take for him to return. So if we can only Van Dijk's or whatever, but it's good to know that we've got Endo who can come in and do a job, whether it's in midfield or defense. And I feel like this is the kind of player you need to have in your squad, someone that is able to adapt in different positions. But when he performs at a really high level. For me, he showcased that today. Very dominant, not in terms of in the air or anything like that, but in terms of his play, whether it's his passing or his tackling. He could sniff the danger before he even came towards the goal. So I thought he was very good today. Dominant in every aspect. So very, very impressive Endo. And hopefully he gets more game time going forward because I do feel like he deserves to be involved in the first team fixtures. So for me, he gets an 8.5 out of 10. I think he just had a slightly better game than Kwanzaa. Simicast, a much better performance from Simicast in this one. Against Tottenham, I think some fans thought he had a good game. I didn't think he did personally. I thought he looked quite rusty. Um, Tried to, showcase his ability, but he had a lot of wayward passes. His crossing wasn't the best. Today, he looked a little bit more polished, a lot more smoother in terms of his overall gameplay and transition. He did really well. His crossing was better in set pieces. So no, all round, much, much better performance. And it looks like he's heading back to full fitness now, which is a welcome sight in my eyes because I do feel like he'll be needed in the upcoming games. So for today's performance, I will give him an 8 out of 10. Szoboszlai playing in a slightly unfamiliar role, in my opinion, because I've not really seen him play in a double pivot. But because of our tactical setup where Trent ended up being more inverted, he actually didn't play as a defensive midfielder. He was playing more as a number eight. But I think he had a good performance today. Uh, Gave the assist for Trent, which was obviously not a difficult one. It was a few hours away, but even the through ball for the first goal, and it ended up being where Trent laid it off to Nunes, and Nunes hit the low cross to Jota. That all came from Szoboszlai there. So for me, Szoboszlai is improving a lot in the last 2, 3 months. He might not be getting the final assist, but he's a player that is the one that lays it off to the guy who ends up getting the final assist. So he's helping up in the build-up play. His energy levels, despite only playing one half, you can see that we've missed his physicality, his pressing, his energy. So he has been a miss for the team in the last few weeks. So good to see him back in the game as well. Only played one half, which for me is positive because he's just returned from being ill. So hopefully he'll be fully fit for the Forest game. Forest game is literally in 2, 3 days, so it's not long to go. So for me, I'm gonna give him a 7.5 today. Probably on the basis that he only played one half, but I think he still showed a good account of himself. So I'm gonna give him 7.5 out of 10. Morton for me had a decent game, uh, quiet in some certain phases, but at the same time, I noticed him, making some crunching tackles. Uh, in terms of his distribution, he was decent. He wasn't really doing anything, crazy. He was passing, kept it neat and tidy. I just had a very solid game today. So he's another player that hasn't been utilized that much under Arne Slot, but I feel like against certain level teams, so if it's like a lower Premier League team, I feel like he could do a decent job. So he's a good player to have around, and hopefully he does get some minutes before the close of the season. So for me, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Diogo Jota for me had a good game, a little bit better than his previous game against Tottenham Hotspur. I feel like he was more up to speed today. He was running around a little bit more, still doing cheeky nutmegs, which is always a joy to watch. The goal was a clean finish where it's a tapping from a few yards out, but his movement overall in the game I thought was really good. Um, Even the goal for Dan's that led from his pressing and intercepting a pass there and then laying it off to Jaden Dance for him to go forward and score his goal in the end. So for me, good performance from Jota. Not quite 100% fit in my opinion. Still, you know, getting there. I feel like he's probably like 80% right now. So once he hits full form, we'll probably get Jota the shotter once again. So for me, he gets an 8 out of 10 in this fixture. Harvey, for me, had a good game. I was actually a little bit concerned that he may have been taken off because he picked up an injury in the second half. I think the player was Alex Henderson, who hit the back of his ankles, but thankfully he was able to continue and proceed from there on. Good game. I think he kept things neat and tidy. Played right wing and then ended up playing in the middle of the park in the latter stage. So for me, a good account of himself. Um, I would have liked him to have played that number 10 role personally, so he would have had a bit more freedom. But obviously, Jota was the player that was selected for that role. But nevertheless, a good performance from Harvey Elliott. So I'm going to give him a 7.5, like suppose like as well. Let's talk about our protege there, Rio and Gomorrah, who is our youngest player ever to play for Liverpool, 16 years old, and I think he's 125 days. So yeah, great moment for him and his family. And you can see why Chelsea fans are annoyed with the fact that we've got him because he looks like a very, very special talent. In the first half, he made so many runs. It was a joy to watch. And we could see the hype. I've seen him play for youth level, so I wasn't hugely surprised in terms of what I saw. But for him to do it on an occasion where, yes, it's Accrington Stanley, which is a League Two team, but it's against it's in a Anfield Stadium. It's a full crowd. The pressure's on. You know, a lot of noise would have been about him starting this fixture. So I feel like he showed no fear whatsoever. He played his natural game, was very brave in terms of his actual output, dribbling past two, three players on numerous occasions. Um, I think he did really, really well. Obviously, still very raw in terms of his overall play, but in terms of his dribbling and his acceleration, yeah, he's got special talent. So, long may it continue in terms of his development, and hopefully one day we'll be seeing him in the first team regularly, in my opinion. Not, I don't think it'll be anytime soon, probably a year or two, but I feel like he'll be fully up to speed and, he can be fine for a position in the team. So, great performance from a young kid. So for me, I'm going to give him, I'll give him a solid score of 8. I'm only giving him 8 because in the second half, he was a little bit more quiet. And I think in the first half, he was impactful. Like he literally was our main attacking outlet that provided pace and width on the flank. But he's 16 years old, so you don't see many 16-year-olds perform to the level that he did today. So very, very impressed with how he showcased himself today. Darwin Nunes. Now, firstly, there is no agenda. I just want to put that out there because I feel like people might think, I've got something against him. I go based on what I see on the pitch, and it's a analysis game by game. I don't really think of what's happened previously. So for me, in today's performance, I don't think he was great, to be honest with you. He had quite a few chances, especially in the first half. The first one was a header. It wasn't the ease of a chances because the cross came and it was where you had to go a bit back and try and generate power, wasn't able to hit the target. So not the easiest of chances, but you know, maybe at least go for target. But that wasn't the one for me. The one where, he found it the ball in around the 6 yard box, controlled it, and in that moment, you can hit any type of shot, any technique that you want. I know he likes to lash the ball, so he could have done it in that moment as well. But he hit sky high, hit over the bar. So for me, that is just a poor execution. The only thing that was positive in his play today was the fact that he provided the assist for Diogo Jota. Other than that, I wasn't impressed with his game. I feel like Neil Dan's, I'm talking about his dad now. Jalen Dan's, when he came on, I thought he was more impactful. He pretty much scored with his first touch, and he just looks like a more assured type of player, more clinical, has something about him. His movement, he looks very quick on the ball as well. So, yeah, I know, I've seen comments on social media where fans are like, Nunes can be sold or, he's above Nunes in the pecking order. I, for me, the pecking order is a bit irrelevant at this part of the season. But I do believe he's fully fit now. He's been out for a few months. He's just returned to full fitness. He's definitely a worthy contender to be in the first team. For me, he should be around the first team this season and challenging for that striker role because Luis Diaz is probably number one in that role right now. And then you've got Diogo Jota returning as well. And Darwin Núñez for me has been very hit and miss. So it is up for grabs in terms of having a place on the bench. And why not? Healthy competition within the squad. And look, we're in this stage of the season where we need every player available. So I'm all for Jalen Dance to be available and starting certain games. And look, if he's, you know, scoring goals whenever he makes appearances, that for me, that suits my team. I don't really care on a personal level if another player isn't getting more game time. If he's helping the team, then I'm all for it. So for me, today was a good cameo from him, and hopefully he'll be able to be, available in further squad selections, not just in the cup game. I'd like to see him play in the Premier League as well, just to see what his level is. Because as a Liverpool fan, I've seen him play for the under 21s, and I've seen last year especially, and last year he had an impact in terms of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. So for me, um, he's a very, very talented player that should be playing a lot more. I've gone a lot bit sideways, just realized 'cause the review was on Darwin Núñez. So yes, in terms of his score, unfortunately, not the best of performances today. I thought he was wasteful with his chances, so I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. So that is my player ratings for the first 11. feel free to drop a comment. Let me know your scores or let me know what you think. Have I been nice to certain players? Have I been, not so nice with regards to, Darwin Nunes, for example? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Let's try and bring on the substitutions, and then we can talk about them as well. I always feel like I talk so much about Dan's, but we'll get into him as well. So, Chiesa came on for Szoboszlai, so I'll place the players in their correct positions very shortly. Chiesa, there we go. And then we have Bradley coming on for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Actually, wait, I haven't even announced my man of the match, which is, of course, the one with the highest rating so far, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So feel free to drop a comment and let me know who your man of the match is. Mine is Trent Alexander-Arnold. So he's going to be substituted for Bradley. McConnell for Morton. There he is. McConnell. And then we've got Dan's for Rio and Gamora. And Leone on for Endo. There we go. So they're all there. So let's place them in their correct position. So Chiesa played over there. Connor ended up playing centre back, didn't he? Yeah, so he was there. And then you had Leone, then you had Ali playing in his deeper role. And you had Dan playing on the left side and Darwin was up top. So let's start with Chiesa. Big talking point in terms of Chiesa's appearance today. As you know, we were told that there was speculation around his future at the club, uh, with rumors suggesting that Kvaratskhelia could be a possible Liverpool signing, with Chiesa being part of the deal. So Fabrizio Romano tweeted earlier on to say that PSG have agreed a fee or something to that nature for Kvaratskhelia, so he's on the verge of signing for them. So yeah, that puts um, any sort of puts the rumor to bed basically. And it was interesting to see, what stage Chiesa is in terms of his fitness because he hasn't played much. He's been struggling with illness in recent weeks. So is he much fit or is he just, he's just like, got the flu and he's just like trying to recover from that? Today, I felt like he looked a bit rusty. He didn't look fully match fit, in my opinion. Um, but from what I saw, he had a decent cameo. I do feel like he looks a bit on the heavy side, so he didn't look as energetic, but I feel like that's going to come with more match fitness, the more games he plays. But he had an instant impact, and that is what you want from a player that's come off the bench. First shot hit the side netting. He had another shot moments later, also hit the side netting. Had another shot where he hit the post, so very unlucky not to score there. And finally got his goal with a bit more of a difficult chance. Had to hit across the goal post and then lovely finish. So for me, he was a constant threat throughout. Um, Very efficient on the ball. He's not one of those wingers that just gets the ball and there's dribbles and tries to do the fancy stuff. He's very direct. He tries to make things happen for the team. I remember one moment where he was attacking the edge of the box and hit a high cross across goal, but no one read the play. I think Nunes was close-ish to it, but didn't really position himself to execute a shot there. So for me, Chiesa was very positive today. Really good performance from him. And yeah, hopefully he's able to get some more game time now. So for me, if I was, working for the club, I would try to ensure that he gets a bit more match fitness through these sort of substitution, sort of like appearances from the bench, these 20-minute cameos here and there. And once he's fully up to speed, then we can start discussing potential starts for him, possibly in the next 2, 3 weeks. Maybe February is the sort of benchmark that we set for him and then take it from there. Because right now I feel like he's just looking like he hasn't played for a long time. It's quite evident. So hopefully, he's up to speed in the coming games. We've got a game in 2, 3 days, so hopefully he's involved in that. But in terms of today's performance, obviously a fantastic moment for him, scoring his first Liverpool goal. So he's pretty much announced himself now as a Liverpool player. So for me, he gets an 8 out of 10. So well done to him for his performance today. Bradley came on, did a decent job, to be fair. Very energetic. Defending wise, it wasn't really troubled that much. Attacking wise, tried to get involved, even attacks from the inside at times. So for me, it had a decent cameo, very positive whenever he comes on, which is a good sign. So for me, he gets a 6.5 out of 10. Um, McConnell, I was really impressed with. I'm very surprised that he doesn't get more minutes in these sort of cup ties. Uh, Very good on the ball, very intelligent in terms of his movement, and always picks the right pass at the right time. Today, he had to play two positions, played in the midfield at first, and then had to switch over and played uh, in the centre back position alongside Kwanzaa there. So for me, I was impressed with his cameo when he came on. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. And then we have Jane and Dance, who I've already done a monologue on. As I was talking about Darwin Nunes, unfortunately, for him. But yes, I was very impressed with the way he even provided the goal. It was his movement from the left hand side where he cut in, laying it off to Chiesa. Chiesa, full first touch, has a shot that was blocked by the keeper, but Daz didn't stop his run. He continued and made himself available in the box and smashed it in from close range. So obviously, in terms of finishes, not the hardest of finishes, but in just in terms of how he plays, I would like to see him in the first team a lot more, if I'm being honest. Obviously, beforehand, he wasn't available. He's just been made available in recent weeks. So I do feel like Armstrong will utilize him at some point this season. He has great movement, very quick as well. I think because he's tall, we don't expect him to be so nippy around the pitch. He's actually got decent speed on him, with and without the ball, to be honest. And for me, whenever I've seen him, score a goal, it's been like he's hit with real execution. It's not just smashing goals kind of thing. Like last year, I remember him applying a dinked finish, which was quite a nice one in one of the cup games. So for me, I like to see more of him, so I can really have a strong opinion about him. I feel like he's got great potential, but we just need to see him on the pitch and let's see where his level, what his level is right now, because I think the original plan was to send him out on loan last summer, but he picked up an injury, so that didn't pan out. So that could be the case for him this summer, where he's made available for a move in the Premier League. That's something I would favour, where he plays for either a newly promoted team in the Premier League or one of the other teams that are around the mid-table slash bottom table range, and then he can, really, enhance his development from playing week in week out and playing men's football. So look, for me, I feel like he's got a bright future. Whenever I've seen him play, very impressed in terms of his performances, and I watched um, his interview after the game as well. Such a articulate boy in terms of how he speaks, and you can just tell he was so grateful to be making an appearance. He spoke very positive about Onslaught, just saying that he really appreciates being given a chance. So for me, he seems like a level-headed person, and you need those kind of characters in the squad. He's not going to get ahead of himself. He knows anytime he gets to play for Liverpool Football Club, it's a proud moment for him. So that bodes well for me. I feel like you need players like that who, whenever called upon, will be ready to fight for the badge and give it their all. And that's what you want from your players. So in terms of Dan's performance, I was very impressed, and I hope to see him a lot more. I hope to see him in the Premier League, not just cup games. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. And who else do we have? We have the final player, Neoni. So very quiet in terms of cameo, but we have to put into consideration that he only played about 10 or 15 minutes. But he was the player that actually passed to Chiesa, and Chiesa scored the goal to make it 4-0. So technically, he got an assist. So he did have an impact despite not really getting involved in other areas of the game. So for me, I'll just give him an average rating of 6 out of 10. So that is my player ratings. So feel free to drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. And that is it for today. I'm just going to read a couple of comments here and we'll close the show. Um, Nick Fadley says, "Hi, Pop. Big up yourself, Nick." Haspy says, "Let's go." Big up, Haspy. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to Nick and Hasby for your comments. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel in terms of upcoming shows this week. So slight sort of change to the format due to the Premier League fixtures. Obviously, this weekend it's all about FA Cup matches, but this week all of the Premier League games are being played midweek. So our game is on Tuesday against Nottingham Forest. I'll be doing a match preview on Monday, so look out for that one. Tuesday will be the watch along for that game, as well as a match reaction show later in the evening. Then on Wednesday, I'll be doing a transfer talk show. It won't be just Liverpool, it'll be all of the rumours circling around Premier League teams. And on Thursday, I'll be doing a Brentford match preview. And on Friday, I'll be doing a match 21 review, as all of the games will have been played by then. So that's my upcoming show. So feel free to hit the notification bell so you know what time I'm going live. Also, follow me on social media for all the latest updates. You can follow me at Ozzie.ftp, and you can also follow me at Ozzie_FTP on X/Twitter. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak with you all very, very soon. Goodbye.